On starting with just a Rondo update on how he's feeling with the hamstring, and then also just anything more on Avery Bradley. You understand he's been cleared for full contact.
Right, so Rondo is going to be out tonight. Just still has some soreness in there, so he'll be out. And then Avery is, did some 3-on-3, I think 4-on-4 work today, and obviously still out tonight. But if things progress, we're hoping to have him back on this trip at some point.
Just anything further on Rondo from the talks with him? And I know it's something he said he's been feeling a little bit, and then he said that at halftime he wasn't able to go in the second half.
Yeah, no, he's got a hamstring strain. We're going to be cautious with things like that at this point in the season, early in the season, and so he's going to be out tonight.
Hey, Frank, for Minnesota, Karl Anthony Towns takes the same number of threes as twos. Not that common even in today's NBA. How does that impact how you defend a player like that, especially with some of your big lineups?
Well, it's just the alertness by the whole group has to be at a high level. It's not just the guy that's guarding him. We have coverages in place that hopefully allow us to get back to him at the three-point line without overextending and allowing him rolls to the basket and allowing him to get open with deeper post positions. So he's one of those multiple threat kind of guys. He can hurt you with rolls to the basket. He can really hurt you in the post. And, obviously he carries that threat at the three-point line, as great as any big in the NBA, shooting at 43% of nine attempts. So it's going to challenge our defense, but hopefully our game plan is well enough.
All right, thanks, guys. Danny Green, kind enough to join us here at Staples Center. Danny, that trip went about as well as you guys could have liked. Really played well, both sides of the ball. You get 3 wins. You come back. Sometimes they talk about that hangover, right, when you return to a home building. Since you know that as a vet, how do you make sure it doesn't happen?
Well, we're going to find out tonight. It's a test of our maturity as a group, how well we've grown, our experience. Just got to come out, respect whoever it is we're playing against. Came out with the same focus, same energy, and same intensity. So tonight it's going to be a good test, and obviously we know we need to do it, but we have to do it, and we'll see how it goes when we get on the floor.
Hey, did you see AD take his game up a level on that previous trip?
I saw that he got some more energy back as he got healthier. The sickness kind of went away, but he was a mismatch every night, and it was more glaring. Some nights, some switches we saw it, so we went to him, and he's making better plays, not just attacking, but finding guys and getting out in transition, and we're making the game easy for everybody around us.
You've talked before, too, about how your game, you're going to find a way to just impact that given game the best way that you can. How does that go about, whether it's defense, offense, and feeling the flow of the moment?
Oh, it's always defense for me. I got to impact on that end first. Offensively, it'll come. Whether I get 3 or 4 shots or maybe 10 or 12, you never know. Some nights I might get 2, some nights I might get 10. But regardless, space the floor. And when I'm open, try to knock them down, put pressure on the defense. But defensively, got to come in every night, bring that intensity, that energy, that activity with getting deflections, getting hands on the ball, and then keeping guys out the paint. But our bigs have done a great job of allowing us to get into guys and be more comfortable on the perimeter playing defense.
I know people liked your response after Portland. I just know this because I tweeted it out, but basically you weren't that impressed. You're like, we're not going to take this. Hey, we didn't do anything yet. We want to win the title. Like, we're not just getting all excited about 20-3.
We're barely a third of the way through, so what we're doing right now is great, but it's not the ultimate goal, and we can't be excited or satisfied by it. We still know we have a long way to go, a lot of season left. We have to sustain this, and we have to mature and get better because everybody else is getting better as well.
And last thing, just quickly, a thought on the Minnesota Timberwolves who come into town, and especially Karl Anthony Towns playing some good basketball.
They're a very high potential young athletic team. They get up and down, and they can get flammable. Their coach says they're dangerous, so they shoot a lot of perimeter shots, and they're very capable of getting hot and making some. So. And they have some, a pretty good young core.
By the way, Dwight Howard was previously 6 of 64 for his career from three-point range.
I'm glad you brought that up because there's no way I'm inviting Dwight to shoot his paradise. There's no way I'm yelling leave it for Dwight Howard shooting 3.
No. He should be turned away at the gate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also,
as he presents his ID.
Matt, and it's also hard to hear him say, "Oh, I gotta get my free throws again. I've been missing them bad lately." So to hear him tonight make a 3 and then reference his free throw shooting kind of backwards, isn't it, a little bit?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Tonight, anything went for the LA Lakers, who dominated in Utah. This is Game Time presented by Kia, by the way. That's Dennis Scott. I'm Matt Weiner.
Hey, y'all.
We usually do that at the beginning, but yeah, why not? Lakers are as good as advertised, and maybe then some. There was a lot of discussion about their schedule in December and how hard it was going to get, and there's still a lot of December to go here. But back-to-back wins in Denver and Utah. The defense is as good as we thought it could be? And the offense there's been plenty of it so far.
And the chemistry. I throw the chemistry in there too, Matt, because offensively, we know LeBron's going to do his thing. AD, when healthy, he's showing he still can dominate in his positions wherever he catches the ball on the floor. But it's the other players like KCP got to a slow start, put him in the starting lineup, had a couple good games. Then you got Caruso off the bench, having some enthusiasm and playing great basketball. So the overall chemistry, I'm well pleased to see, Matt, because that was the biggest thing, knowing that AD was coming over and all these new pieces. How long would the chemistry to go? Now, right now, to your point, the schedule is the schedule. I don't know why people bring it up so much, because if the schedule was the way it is and the record was 9-9, I think we'd be nitpicking, or 12-8, something like that. We'd be nitpicking a little bit more. So I think they're where it's supposed to be.
Well, the schedule came up because they racked up a bunch of wins against a relatively soft schedule. And then it was about to turn, and everybody said, myself included, the rest of us, okay, now we're going to find out something, right? Well, we're finding out something. But again, there's a long way to go. Trailblazers, Timberwolves, those road games, with the exception of the Miami game and the two on the back end, that's, it's not murderer's row, but it is a long road trip, and you find out stuff about your team on those trips.
Matt, you bring up a great point. When you go on a long road trip, you find out who you are as a team, and once again, for LeBron and AD, who they are as leaders, because right now they're showing great leadership of when healthy, being out there playing the right way. And when you go on this road trip, how close can you get as a team, learning one another, learning your tendencies to make sure you can keep this going? And let's face it, there's a bullseye on their back, too. These other teams like Orlando and the Hawks and things that you say we should win those games, that building's going to be sold out. Orlando Arena's going to be going crazy. Here in Atlanta, they're going to be going crazy because they know they see them one time. So you also have to be aware of that as well.
Obviously the headliners are LeBron and AD. The bench, all the high plus numbers were from the bench tonight. Rondo flirted with a triple-double. Kyle Kuzma, playing back in Utah, was a plus 25 tonight. And that was a question going into the season. Aside from the high-end talent, do the rest of the pieces work together? Right. How well will it come together? At this point, 22 games into the season now, how complete a team is this?
There's still some work, to your point, Matt. I think Kyle Kuzma is the biggest name. Everyone's wondering, when will he be consistently that third guy, so to speak?
Third scorer.
Right. Yeah. But what I think people have to understand, there's going to be certain nights it may be a different person, and that's okay. And I think the coaching staff and Frank Vogel will tell you, as long as somebody steps up each night to show us that we can go to the bench and say, hey, LeBron didn't have it going tonight, or the AD didn't have it going, who can we go through to get a couple buckets to get us flowing? Right now it's been their defense to save them.
Well, and regardless if there's a third scorer, their defense has been so good. You don't necessarily need a third guy who can go for 20 on a given night. They're still trying to figure out what to do with Kuzma, who to play him with, when he handles the ball on himself, when he's moving without the ball and being a catch and shoot guy. Utah, by the way, beaten in every quarter tonight. The Jazz, as I mentioned, have lost 5 of their last 6. Maybe this is just a blip after a really tough stretch of schedule out east over the Thanksgiving break. But maybe there's some growing pains here as well, with Mike Conley unavailable tonight and struggling early in the season, and with 3 guys normally in the starting lineup who are used to having the ball in their hands.
Yeah, I think Mike Conley is probably the biggest one we all would probably point at, because we know how good he's been throughout his whole career. So trying to find his way, trying to find his rhythm, and also his leadership. We know Mike Conley is a great guy in the locker room and a great leader. So how does his game finally catch up and get back to playing the kind of basketball we know he can play?
All right, let's bounce around the league a little bit. The Dallas Mavericks were at home tonight. Dominant win by the LA Lakers on the road in the second half of a back-to-back. They win in Denver last night, and they just obliterate the Jazz tonight on their home floor. They held Utah to 41%, and so that's 12 wins in their last 13 games for LA. They've won 10 straight now on the road. Utah scuffling after that rough East Coast trip. They've lost 5 of their last 6.
Matt, it's safe to say the Lakers are pretty locked in because the schedule is what it is.
Toughest schedule on paper in December.
It's coming.
Apparently, Shaq has been watching.
What? Come on, Bron. What is that, man? Can we see that again?
Now you see why they couldn't get that call right last night.
Listen, man, he took more steps than Drew Hill.
The dude standing looking at him, and the Utah player saying, wait a minute, call this.
He took more steps than Drew Hill, and they was 5 steps from eternity. Come on, man.
Unbelievable.
He took more steps than Jagged Edge when they walked straight out of heaven. Come on, what is going on here?
Unbelievable.
How did 3 officials miss this?
Come on, you gotta have another one.
Huh?
You have another one?
I'm all out. I'm all out.
All right, well, look for LeBron next week on TNT. To be on Shaq.
Unbelievable.
Dog, what are the officials looking at?
Dude, he was looking right at, and then when the player from Utah was like, "Are you gonna call this official like this play?" Really?
Listen,
Okay,
that's
now
bad.
you're gonna put it back on me again.
That's bad.
Again, I
That's
got
65-47.